Many of us in the tech industry see the new iPad naming protocol as a sign of things to come. Calling the new iPad the iPad Air gives the suggestion that an iPad Pro is not far away. That's good news. iPad sales need to keep going up, up, up. And one thing that will help iPad sales is a variety of iPads for sale. The iPad Mini, how about the iPad Mini Pro? The iPad Air, and then the iPad Pro. They do this with the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. So it's a sign of things to come. That's what this new naming protocol seems to suggest. And myself and others have suggested that to help uh, MacBook Air sales is to create a MacBook Air that has a detachable touchscreen. Can you imagine that? I think that would sell very well. A MacBook Air with a detachable, touchable screen. Detachable touchscreen. I think this is what needs to be done in Apple. And as we look to the future, we can see that Microsoft and others are leading the way. It's great to have a cover for your tablet that also functions as a keyboard. And while one could argue whether Microsoft is the company to do it, certainly Apple is the company to do it. And Apple with a smart cover that is a keyboard, an Apple that has a touchpad and a type pad. Wow. I think that would be a great thing for Apple and Apple users. I'm excited to see the new iPad Air. Mostly the naming, because the iPad Air name seems to suggest that either next year or the next, the iPad Pro is coming. I also think that, like many others do, that the memory will increase. Right now it's up to 128 gigabytes, and I think it's going to go even further. Surely the iPad Air can match the Surface Pro 2, at least the Surface 2. It's time for the industry to move once again forward. And I think that Apple knows this. They know that they need to offer something innovative, something for productive use, an increase in entertainment use. And one way to do that is to offer more iPad variety. Now, what are the signs that we can look to say this is going to happen? Well, as I mentioned before, iPad Air, the name itself suggests there's going to be an iPad Pro. But if we look at the history of the iPod, we can see that there were many different versions of the iPod. And I think the iPad will follow that lineage. of different devices. It's just the way it has to be to keep sales going. And I think one of the best things about the MacBook Air, which I'm recording this video on, is the detachable touchscreen. I think that would shoot up sales of the MacBook Air. So I think the time is coming, and that is good news. And I hope Apple does it, because someone surely will. That's it for this episode of Tech Talk Techie. We'll cover more tech in another episode.